I thought the morgue was the quietest place in the city. That's what everyone says about places meant for the dead. That silence belongs to them, that it's respectful, empty, harmless. I believed it too, back when I still believed silence was just the absence of sound. On my first night working the graveyard shift, the lights flickered once as I signed in, just a brief blink like the building clearing its throat. I joked about it to myself, adjusting my coat, trying to shake the nervous excitement crawling under my skin. New job, extra pay, fewer people, easy. The morgue smelled like disinfectant and cold metal, a smell that settles into your clothes and refuses to leave, no matter how many showers you take. The air was always colder than it needed to be, like the building wanted to remind you where you were. Rows of steel drawers lined the walls, each one holding someone who had once been warm, loud, alive. Names and numbers taped neatly to the handles, lives reduced to labels. I walked my usual rounds, checking temperatures, logging times, making sure everything stayed where it belonged. The dead are supposed to be predictable. They don't move, they don't surprise you. That belief lasted exactly 3 nights. The third night was quieter than the others. No police drop-offs, no emergency calls, just me, the hum of the refrigeration units, and the occasional click of the old fluorescent lights overhead. At 2:17 a.m. the lights went out. Not completely. Half of them died at once, plunging the far end of the room into shadow. The rest flickered weakly, buzzing like insects trapped behind glass. Emergency lights should have come on. They didn't. I froze, pen hovering over my clipboard. Power outages weren't unheard of in this part of the city, but something about the timing made my skin tighten. The silence changed. It felt heavier, closer, like the room had leaned in. I told myself to breathe, told myself to walk to the breaker panel, told myself I was being stupid. That's when I heard it, a soft sound, wet, deliberate, a drawer sliding open, slowly. Metal on metal, dragged out just enough to be unmistakable. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my feet stayed planted. My heart pounded so hard I could hear blood rushing in my ears. "Hello?" I called out, hating how thin my voice sounded. No answer. The sound came again, another drawer, different direction. I turned toward the shadows, raising my flashlight with shaking hands. The beam cut through the darkness, catching the edges of steel, casting long, distorted reflections across the floor. One of the drawers was open, just a few inches. The tag on the handle swayed slightly as if something had brushed past it. I knew that tag, case 417, unidentified male, found in an alley. No signs of struggle. Cause of death listed as cardiac arrest, though the coroner had frowned at the report longer than usual. I remembered his face, because he had been smiling. Not a peaceful smile. Not the slack expression of muscles finally at rest. It was wide. Deliberate. Wrong, that Br. I had joked about it earlier that night, muttering to myself that someone should tell him the joke was over. I regretted that now. My flashlight trembled as I stepped closer. Each footstep echoed too loudly, like the room was amplifying my fear. "Power's out," I said to no one. "I'll fix it in a minute." The drawer slid open another inch. I stopped breathing. There was no hand on the handle, no visible force. It just moved, slow and patient, as if giving me time to notice. I backed away, bumping into another steel table. The clang echoed, sharp and final. The drawer stopped moving. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the lights flickered again. For half a second, the room was fully illuminated. In that instant, I saw his face. Case 417 was no longer lying flat. His head was tilted toward the opening, eyes open, fixed directly on me, and his smile was wider. The lights went out completely. Total darkness. I screamed. My flashlight clattered to the floor, spinning uselessly. I dropped to my knees, hands scrambling, panic swallowing every rational thought. When I finally grabbed it and clicked it back on, the beam shook so badly it made everything blur. The drawer was fully open, empty. Cold air rushed over me, sharp and biting. The smell changed too, less disinfectant, more copper, more rot. I stumbled backward, hitting the wall hard enough to knock the breath from my lungs. My mind raced, trying to build explanations it didn't believe. Then I felt it. Breath. Not warm, not cold. Just pressure against the side of my face, like someone leaning close enough to whisper. I didn't turn. I couldn't. A voice slid into my ear, soft and amused. "Why did you turn the lights off?" I ran. I didn't care where I was going. I slammed through doors. shoulder screaming in pain, my lungs burning. The hallway lights flickered on and off, casting broken images of my reflection in the glass panels. In every one, something was wrong. Sometimes my reflection was smiling, sometimes it was standing still while I kept running. I reached the security desk, hands shaking as I grabbed the phone. No dial tone. The monitors showed nothing but static. Behind me, the lights dimmed. I felt the smile before I saw it. Cold fingers brushed my cheek, tracing the shape of my mouth, pulling gently upward. "Smile," the voice whispered. "It looks better on you." I woke up in the hospital. They told me I'd been found unconscious near the exit, lights restored, everything normal, no open drawers, no missing bodies, no power outage recorded. They suggested stress, hallucinations, lack of sleep. I quit the next day. Months passed. The nightmares faded. The smell of disinfectant stopped haunting my clothes. I started to believe it had been my mind breaking under pressure. Until last night. I was lying in bed half asleep when my bedroom lights flickered. Just once, my phone buzzed with a notification from an unknown number. No text, just an image, a photo of a steel drawer, a familiar tag, case 417, and reflected faintly in the polished metal, my face, smiling,